of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Would make sure that their phones are on vibrate or off, please. Roll call of council members, please.
Councilmember Halsey? Councilmember Jones?
Here.
Councilmember Case?
Here.
Councilmember Knudsen? Here. Councilmember Putnam?
Here.
Councilmember Steiger?
Here.
Councilmember Walker?
Thank you, all present. The mayor is in Washington D.C. tonight, so as Mayor Pro Tem, I'm taking over the duties of running the meeting. Additions to or approval of the agenda.
Excuse me, John, would you hold the mic closer to you people back right here?
Can you hear me? I usually don't have a problem with my voice, but I'll make sure I talk more clearly and into the microphone. Any, again, additions to or approval agenda?
Move to approve the agenda.
I have one item, though. I would like, if the council to consider the possibility of moving the public hearing up prior to the reports. That way those that are here specifically for the public hearings can relieve themselves of our tedious Monday night duty.
So moved.
Been moved and second that we move the public hearing up before the reports. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. All right, so we have no other additions. We'll move to approve the agenda as modified.
We'll move to approve the agenda as amended.
And second? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Audience comments other than items on the agenda. I got several. Phyllis Halsey.
My name is Lois Halsey. I live on 3rd and Pacific still. And we have a motorhome parked not in our front yard, but on the side of our house. And the reason we have it there is because when we decided to get a motorhome, I came up to City Hall and I talked to Mayor Jorgensen and asked her about parking it there. And she said, I'll have to check and I'll call you back, which she did the next day and said, no problem, as long as you don't have it on the other side of the sidewalk. So we got the motorhome. Now, all these years later, I'm told you can't have it there. And I think it's so unfair that a very few people can tell us what to do in our own yard. I don't think it's right. I don't think anybody realizes the expense and the hardship it's going to put on people that have these motorhomes. And they're not hurting anybody. We happen to have a bus stop right in front of our motorhome. They use the little cable box that's beside the motorhome to sit on. Their garbage is all over. I go out there every day and pick up all this garbage, and there's a waste pan, garbage can or whatever right there at the bus stop. But they don't care. We have a bus stop on the side of our house, school bus stop on the side of our house, and then of course there's boxes of Cheerios and all kinds of stuff. I pick that up every day. We have mailboxes, not ours, but mailboxes in front of our house, so you can't move the bus stop. I keep our yard as good as I can, and the house looks good. Frosty works hard on keeping that house presentable. And now a very few people just decided, oh, let's tell them what to do. And every single thing that's in those letters, it's about us. It's about people that have motorhomes. There's never been an accident because of a motorhome. I don't know what you people are thinking. A bill that's, 40-some years old? Oh, let's just go ahead and do this now. You can't have a car in your parking, in your driveway, and it's got to be driven every 48 hours. We take the truck. I drive my car maybe twice a week, that's all. And what am I supposed to do with it in the other? I think you people are wrong, and I think you better sit down and think about it and talk to these people. And what's good for one person has to be good for another person. And that is not what's happening. Half of the people I talk to, they didn't get a letter, but they have motorhomes, they have trailers. They didn't get any letter. Now, what's this about? Our doorbell is ringing and ringing and ringing with people coming by to see what's going on. What's this all about? Well, why don't you people do something that's helpful? The police don't have time to drive around the streets of Pacific and say, I think that car hasn't moved in 2 days. I think they've got a lot more to do than monitor something that silly.
Carla Robinson, Kathy Brown.
You're not going to come with me?
Similarly wanted to.
Hello, I'm Carla Robinson, and I live off of 4th and Hawthorne, and I have lived there for 25 years. I was told from the day I purchased my house that we were not to have a travel trailer in the front of our house. So we have a fifth wheel, we park it behind our fence. I don't understand what the problem is to pull it behind your fence. Now people are parking their trailers in their front yard, their driveway, and their cars are also in their yard, which drives me nuts. It makes our homes look trashy. We're known, I don't know if all of you know this, but we're known as the blue tarp capital, you know? What's that mean? It means we're the garbage city. Well, to me, I don't want to be the garbage city. And if putting your trailer behind your fence is so offensive, then why do you have it? You should have it so that it doesn't offend your neighbors. I don't want to offend my neighbors behind my fence. Thank you.
Gary Halsey. You need to go up. You're not as council member at this point.
Since I will be recusing myself from the vote as we have a motorhome, there's some things that I want to bring to the attention of the council, and I'll speak as a citizen today. First off, Pacific Municipal Code 20.72.050, subparagraph A, 2B. In its wording, it mentions motorhomes, vacation trailers, boat trailers, camperettes, and all other vehicles not in daily use, parked more than 48 hours must be parked behind the front of the house. Well, there's some serious issues with that because the all other vehicles, for instance, if we're out on the road with a motorhome, then we've got 2 vehicles sitting in our driveway, and they are on a daily use. I'm not going to park them behind the house because when there are no vehicles in the driveway, that kind of invites burglars to help themselves. We also have some constitutional issues. Since it can't be enforced unilaterally, that's a violation of the 14th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, which guarantees equal protection and equal application of the law. And when Supreme Court decision, Agins v. the City of Tiburon, the court declared that government regulation of private property affects a taking if it does not substantially advance legitimate government interest. There have been no incidents, accidents, otherwise, involving motorhomes that the police department knows of forever. There's never been one in this city. So there's no legitimate government interest in stating that it's a public safety issue. Whether or not it is an aesthetic issue is subjective. And we need to work to change that regulation to where it's consistent with the Constitution, because even though I'm retiring May 1st, I'm still going to be an advocate of citizens' rights, because we're here to serve the citizens as City Council. We're not here to regulate them like cattle or sheep. We're here to serve them and their interests and wants. Thank you very much.
Jeremy Thompson.
Hello. I'm Jeremy Thompson. I live across the street at 324 Milwaukee Boulevard. For 12 years, irrelevant. What I'm here tonight for is to, past 4 years, us over at Aggressive Ministries, church over on Frontage Road, we've done a school drive throughout the summer, and which at the end of summer, which this year we'd like to, August 16th, pass out the school drive, pass out supplies at the park here. In the past, the city has been kind enough to donate the space at the park. So I have an application with the space that we need, and come to ask if you guys would be kind enough to do that again. It's a great event for the community. We have music, so we use the stage. We have music and free barbecue and games for the kids and school supplies. It's all free for the community, so it's proved to be a big help for families. So.
Thank you.
Do you got a motion tonight, or move to workshop and vote on it next session? We've done that in the past.
We'll put on an application to turn in.
Okay. So turn this in to.
Thank you.
Cool. Thank you.
Bill White.
Hello, I'm Bill White. I live at 119 Alder Lane North. I lived there for about 5 years. And first thing, I don't see why I can't park my car on the side of my house. It's in my yard. I shouldn't get a $150 ticket for it, which I've already received one. Second thing is, wanted to ask the city, especially the police department, if anybody knows of any evacuation plans for the city of Pacific due to the tankers that are rolling through our city every day. I don't know if anybody's noticed all those petroleum tankers out there on the rails that sit out there on the rails. Down in Texas, I think it was last month or the month before, there was a derailment and 18 cars blew up. One car was blown 875 feet away from the accident and killed 18 people. I think the city of Pacific should, for its citizens, come up with an evacuation plan through the fire department. I don't care who's through, but I think it's something that we need to look at. And if that happens, I think that maybe we should get these companies that are sending all this stuff past us. Because if that stuff goes up, every day I don't know if anybody's been watching or listening, but the companies that own those tankers are now trying to say that they're safe enough, but there's been studies that have been done that say that those tankers are not sufficient for the oil that's going in there. The oil is 25% more flammable than those things are able to take. So if one blows up, you don't get just one, you get multiples. I'm not a hazmat expert, but I am trained in hazmat for my job, and you get multiples. If it goes up, it's got to go that way, this way, up, or, you know. So I'm hoping that the city council can come up with something through whoever we need to, because it's something that needs to be seriously looked at. Last time I counted, one train was last Thursday, was 127 tankers, carrying 5,500 gallons per tanker. It had a 1202 sticker on it, which means gasoline. It doesn't even mean oil, it means gasoline. So hopefully I'll come back and rattle your cages for you. Some of you guys might remember me. I was the one who was here when Cy Sung was here and rattled his cage every time. So So I'll be back.
Thank you.
Thanks.
John?
Sir.
Oh,
Sir, may I ask a question? Which rail line are you speaking of? This
Oh,
one
yeah.
that goes down here?
That one right over there.
That across my house.
Or you're talking the one off,
Burlington.
right off the valley?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay. Very little of that's in the second.
it's right across from my house.
It's a block and a quarter from my house.
I say very little of it is in the second.
We don't care.
Well,
Blows up, it blows up.
I don't think the tanks that blow up,
Are gonna know where they're at.
yeah, they're not gonna care.
John Dawkins, if you'll, take a look at our emergency plan.
We have an evacuation plan as part of the emergency management plan. If you want to see it, I can get you a copy.
Well, I think that maybe all the people in Pacific would probably like to see that.
It's available. Isn't it still, we have it,
It's on the website, isn't it?
I don't think it's on our website.
No, it's not.
Will be. New one.
Good plan.
All right.
All right, thank you. Gerald McGreen?
On a little lighter note, I am the poet laureate of Pacific. I see a lot of new faces here, and a couple of new council members. I welcome. In the River Poets Journal recently, it mentions that in 2009 was our centennial year, and I was appointed your poet laureate. I have been published now 23. I just received word that I will be published in March, so that's 26 months in a row. And many of those publications mention that I am the Pacific Poet Laureate. I'd like to share with you tonight the leprechaun of Pacific. Wears the tuxedo and top hat, as emerald as the isle he is from. He is seen now and then by those whose eyes are quick as his wit. A fellow I know saw him along Pacific Park, surfing the river Struck. Another says he was prancing in the rain around the senior center under a maple folio. Ladies see him in our parks, children spot him on playgrounds. Some claim he flies around on the back of an albino raven, blowing four-leaf shamrocks all over Pacific City Hall. I'd like to see him just once under a rainbow with his pot of gold. Thank you.
Audrey Kirkshank?
Hi, Audrey Cruikshank, 703 3rd Avenue Southeast. I would like to request that the council revisit the code regarding the parking. I've lived in Pacific 70 years, and I've lived in my current house for 55 years. And I have an ample-sized driveway for multiple cars. And the closest driveway of anyone, any car in my driveway being in their way, the closest driveway is about a half a block away. So I think that's far enough till it's not going to impair someone pulling out. I don't mind that I got a notice from Mr. Barnett because I had a burned car in my driveway for a year. So this really prompted my grandson to get rid of that car. And it was an eyesore. And finally he put a cover on it, which that helped. But I think those are the kinds of things that we need to be concerned about, not if somebody has 3 cars in their driveway or 1 car parked on the side. Because some people don't have, I have a big yard and I maintain my place pretty good. And I think some people don't have room in their backyards to put a trailer or a motor home or a pickup or a couple of cars. So I'd like to see the council revisit the code and maybe rework it. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other, when you're done, if you'll fill out one of the forms, provide, thank you.
My name is Debbie Glandon. This is my first meeting. I live on 109 Pacific Avenue, and I have a travel trailer. And while I didn't have a problem with the letter, it's an ordinance, good, got the letter, plenty of time to move it. Of course, my husband waited till the last day, but we moved it. So on Monday, I drove around, making sure that, assuring my mom that it wasn't just us, and found that there was still quite a few trailers out and about. So I went in and I spoke to a gentleman behind the desk back there and told him what was going on. And he said, well, now it's under review. I'm like, excuse me? Well, the deadline is not enforced now. It's under review. Well, when were we getting a letter? Oh, it went out today, but the deadline was Friday. Now, then I was able to speak with Mr. Barnett there, and other information that I gathered is it was put under review because a council member could not move their trailer. Okay, that's what I was told. Fine, I can understand that, but my question is, if I called and said I could not move it, would it have been put under review? I don't think so. If I have to follow the ordinances, everybody has to follow the ordinance. It's a city council, not a private council. And so I think everybody is subject to the same rules. From what I understood, 70 people got letters, 50 of the 70 moved their trailers. I'm disabled. I no longer have a truck to push my trailer. I had to borrow it. It cost a lot of money, time, and inconvenience. My husband works graveyard, but we got our trailer moved in time. So it really kind of bothers me. I don't care about the aesthetics. Fine, I can put it in my bag. But it just kind of bothers me that it was put on review because a council member couldn't move it, and we didn't get a notice. I'm sure that council member got the same notice at the same time we all did. There was plenty of time for us to get a letter saying we did not have to move until it was reviewed. You want to review an ordinance? Great. But if there's a deadline to enforce it, it's enforced for everybody. If it's not, then there should be a letter out before the deadline, before people put time, expense, and inconvenience into doing this, when some of them really can't as well, because it does cost money. Thank you.
Have you received your letter?
Oh, yeah, I got it when I came here, and I still have not received the letter in the mail. But I did pick a letter up at the counter. I still haven't received one in the mail.
Please call the phone.
Yes,
Thank you very much. Any other comments? Hearing none, I'm going to close audience comments.